So we're calling the meeting to order at 5:01. I would love it if someone would make a motion to accept the agenda. That would be you guys. Okay, there we go.
I move we accept the agenda.
Perfect. And then it looks like Jess seconded. Are we adding anything?
No, I am going to ask for an executive to cover two purposes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, all those in favor of the agenda, please signify by saying aye. Perfect. Awesome. Communications with parents, citizens, and staff. Okay, looks like there's no one here with us today, no one else online. So I haven't received anything, so we can continue. Consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'll move we accept the consent agenda.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Perfect. All of those that approve the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Great.
All those nays? Perfect. We have a consent agenda.
And Jacob, the monthly financials should now be correct.
I saw that, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, communication and support to the board. That would be you.
Oh. Oh. Things are busy. I didn't really think about what I wanted to talk about specifically. Both Otter Valley and RNESU have received recent updates from me. Because Otter Valley doesn't get a superintendent's report on the third meeting, I just gave you a separate communication that talked about where we are with staff shortages. You may notice on tonight's consent agenda that you did hire one academic interventionist for OCA, which I don't think is, oh no, she's exiting. She exited before she ever started. That happened to us 3 times. But you are hiring a special educator at Lothrop. We do have an academic interventionist that we'll be bringing forward for Otter Valley, who should be starting next week. So we're working really hard to increase staff, but I would say that our number one issue right now is the staffing shortage. And in particular, how it affects the high school. They just have less ability to absorb a staffing shortage. But all of the schools are significantly understaffed on a regular basis, and that plays out where teachers and paras are subbing for teachers and paras who are out, which causes them then to get exhausted and be out. So it's kind of cyclical until we can actually find some people to hire. Secondly, it's probably the continued COVID cases. It's running 1 or 2 a day throughout the district. Barstow, knock on wood, has been the least affected so far, but it is happening across the district. Closing NESU for 2 days turned out to be a really smart decision. You never know these things, but because we had several cases that came in over the course of a weekend and a Monday, Tuesday, we decided to close Wednesday, Thursday, and we had a 3-day weekend. During that Wednesday to Sunday that we were closed, we got 6 more cases in that did not affect the school because we had closed, so there was no overlap with the school, which meant that we could reopen this Monday and have a consistent opening. So, you know, I don't know if you have any questions on any of the reports. Each of you have looked at your own board reports, but that's primarily what we're doing in the district. As I've said to both boards, I'm very concerned about our ability to recover academic losses right now if we don't have consistent staffing in the classroom. So that's of great concern. It is only October. We hope that will change, but that's of great concern.
Great. Any questions? Nope. All right. Thank you. We're going to move into our monitoring report of 2.1, which is the treatment of students and parents. This is a follow-up from last year, so we have seen this before. Jean will have made any changes to it. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look at it.
And you'll see it's slightly different from what went to the boards because I tried to look at this one through the lens of the SU, which is slightly different from the lens of the 2-member school district. So it is slightly different. Some of the evidence is slightly different.
So can I get someone to make a motion to accept her monitoring report so that then we can, if there's any questions, we can talk about it?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay,
Second.
perfect, thank you. So any questions for Jean about her monitoring report?
Awesome.
Perfect. All right, so all of those that are in favor of accepting the monitoring report signify by saying aye. Perfect. All right, thank you. Oh, board monitoring report 3.2. Thank you. Phew, good. Accountability of the superintendent. So this policy, I don't believe we've looked at before. And the Otter Valley Board looked at this and did not like the wording of it. But we'll go through it maybe as RNESU and see how we like it.
The interesting thing is it's really RNESU's responsibility.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe it'll be different.
So this says accountability of the superintendent. The policy wording is that the superintendent is the board's only link to operational achievement and conduct, so that all authority and accountability of staff as far as the board is concerned is considered the authority and accountability of the superintendent. So what is our reasonable interpretation of what that means? Anybody got anything?
Board sets policy, but the superintendent does the operational and administrative work. That's what I think it means.
Okay.
I just get a visual from our brown dog of the little CEO. But I don't know how to put that in words, but I'm a visual person.
Okay. And so do we have examples of where we did or did not follow this from the RNESU aspect? I don't think we get into the weeds on this board.
You're
All
pretty
right.
consistent.
All right, so we're very consistent on letting the superintendent do her duties. Staying out of the weeds. Oh my goodness. All right. Accordingly, the board will never give instructions to persons who report directly or indirectly to the superintendent. So again, what does that mean for us as board members? What's our reasonable interpretation?
We just give instructions to the superintendent
Okay.
through the monitoring reports
And the policies,
and the policies.
really more towards, through the policies. So I agree, it means you're not calling up Steve Eaton and telling him that he needs to put a modular unit at Leicester School.
Yeah, that's true.
I
We
mean, you're
didn't-
not calling him directly, it would be a board discussion, it would be a, direction to the superintendent.
All right, so I'm just saying,
An example that came up at the Barstow board meeting was that when the pandemic started, our superintendent was fully authorized to take all the steps needed, whereas a lot of districts had to have meetings and change their policy to empower the superintendent to
It's true.
do
oh, that's a
the
really
out
good
of
one.
ordinary things. So I guess that would apply to RNESU as well as
Yeah.
Barstow.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, that's a good one. All right, the next one, the board will not evaluate either formally or informally any staff other than the superintendent.
Seems pretty straightforward.
I know, we only evaluate the
What
superintendent.
else is there
Okay.
to say?
And examples of when we do this every year in February. Yep. Okay, last piece. The board will view successful superintendent performance as demonstrated by organizational accomplishment of board stated ends and avoidance of board prescribed means. So I think that just means that all of the things we want for our kids, she's gonna get for us, and that's how we know that things are going well.
I bring needs forward.
Okay. So I'm writing, the superintendent makes sure our kids have what they need to be successful beyond school. And then an example is the superintendent brings needs forward to the board, and we get monitoring, or we get
Monitoring reports?
well, not just monitoring
Incidental
reports, but we
or
get
superintendent reports?
but like when they did the Inventum, when they showed us the Inventum testing, all of that stuff, so we get
Interim reports,
yep, okay.
interim ends reports.
Anybody have anything to add to that? Okay. Well, look at that. We did that so quickly and efficiently. It's like we've been doing this for a while.
Do you want me to get that from
Yes,
Linda?
please do so. Because then otherwise she's after me. Okay, so policies for action. This one is to be rescinded, IGBAA, which is special education excess costs and related services for non-resident and tuition students. Can we have someone make the motion and then we can discuss?
It's kind of you guys.
Yeah, there's nobody else here.
Jacob made it, I think.
Jacob made it okay, and then Brenda seconded it?
Uh,
Or was it Jess?
Jessica seconded.
All right, Jessica said, all right,
Yeah.
Jessica sent it. Okay, so, discussion, do you want to explain why
Sure.
we need to rescind it?
Sure, so as Barstow was going through their discussions about independent school tuition, because they are a choice school district, our attorney looked at our policies and said, why do you have this one? You don't, it's not really accurate, and you don't really need it because of the law. She recommended that it be rescinded, so I'm asking that it be rescinded.
Okay, any discussion from anyone there? No? All of those in favor of rescinding policy IGBAA, please signify by saying aye. Perfect. It is rescinded. The next policy is policy DSE, Special Education Policy, which is a new policy in your packet. If we could get someone to make the motion to adopt that policy, then we can discuss.
Move we adopt policy DSE.
And a second? Okay, Jacob, thank you. Okay, discussion.
So in this particular policy, if you have a chance to read your most recent VSBA update, they speak to it. As the state of Vermont is going around doing special ed audits, they have decided that they want districts to have this policy, which basically says that we're going to follow the law, so I don't understand why. It would not be something I would write as policy. But they want us to have it, so we're asking for the boards to approve it. VSBA wrote the policy. It's the agency of ed who wants us to have it, but VSBA wrote the model policy, which we're using, and VSBA is in the process of updating the Vermont Special Education Procedures and Practices Manual, which also basically speaks to the law. So in order for us to be compliant when they come visit us in January, we are asking you to approve the policy.
Okay, discussion. Everybody likes what it said? Nobody wants to wordsmith anything? Okay, so all of those in favor of the special ed policy, DSE, please signify by saying aye. Perfect, all right. We need to designate a VISBIT V-High rep or proxy. Normally that would be done in November. at Lake Maury, but they've canceled that. So this is now going to be an online virtual meeting next Wednesday at 5:30.
And as the Barstow Board knows, the next Wednesday at 5:30 is VISBIT, but VHI has declared that theirs is going to be November 5th at 8:15. And Barstow happens to have designated 2 people who also happen to be RNESU board
Really?
members.
How is that possible? Okay. So would it make sense for you guys, if you're already the proxy for Barstow, to also be the proxy for RNESU? Are you willing to do that? Who are you, by the way?
Jacob, you're doing November 5th?
Yep.
So Jacob is VHI and Jessica is VISBIT.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Yep, Brenda's okay with that. Okay, perfect. Then, so moved. Do we have to make an actual motion? Probably should. So let's make
think-
that.
yeah, you do
So
need a
let's make
motion
that motion
to
to designate Jacob as our VHI rep and Jessica as our VISBIT rep. Can someone make that motion?
I make the motion.
Okay, and I'll second it since the other 2 are wanting this. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, good. There we go.
Jean, what was the date on VHI again?
VHI is November 5th at 8:15 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know where I find the VISBIT link? Jean, I looked real quick the other
No,
night.
but I'll make sure that you get it.
Okay.
I don't know, but, I don't know, both of you. I don't think it's, I'm not sure if it's out
They
yet.
probably
I
haven't
think-
come out
I
yet.
think what it is we have to submit your names to them, and then they'll email it to you.
Okay.
All right, so next on our, is set budget parameters.
So this is the same presentation I've given to both boards. I could walk through it again, but all of you have seen it in both of your meetings. It's exactly the same. We do plan to, we are meeting with principals and directors starting November 1st for the first 2 weeks in November, but we do plan to bring this board the first cut of the budget, of the RNESU budget in November for more discussion in December. As you know, we are in a period of inflation. CPI is expecting an inflation rate of 5% by the end of December. You can see the gas prices going up. You can see the fuel prices going up. All of these things are going to be reflected in our budget. So we will be working on that through November. If you'd like me to show the presentation one more time, I will.
I don't think that's necessary. I think we've all seen it and there's, no one else here, so, so I think, are
It's
we
also
all set with
posted
what
on
we've
both.
already heard? Okay, perfect. Let's see, so we can review our annual work plan, which for November 17th, we are gonna be looking at executive limitation 2.2, treatment of staff. We will be looking at our board management delegation of 3.3, delegation to the superintendent. We should be seeing the first draft of the budget. And we will be talking about open board seats and terms up for election in March. So other than that, everything else remains the same. Is there anything we should be adding or subtracting from that work plan?
Not this time for me.
Okay. So our next meeting is set for November 17th. Jean does need some time for executive session. Let's see, and our meeting will be at 5 o'clock, November 17th at Neshabe School. You can also dial in if that is easier for you. And so I would accept a motion of going into executive session for the purposes of,
Negotiations.
thank you, at 5:21.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Barbara made the
Barbara-
motion.
Barbara
Okay,
just came, so Jessica will give it
And
to
Jessica
Barbara.
gets the second. No, that's great, thank you.